All right, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. I get to make the last presentation, and we're going to talk about AI search. A week or two ago, Google came out and said that AI overviews were not affecting click-through rates to brands. Okay. Why would they say this? Obviously, Google has other interests, including making money and keeping people at their website, than sending people over to brands. There are research reports out there that many brands are seeing 20, 30, and 40% drops in traffic because of the growth of AI overviews that continue to show up. And now we also have AI mode, which we're going to talk about in a second. But let's stick into AI overviews for a minute. Not only are you getting less traffic to your website, but Google also decided to make it hard for you to track the traffic in Google Analytics coming from AI overviews. So we have to take the stance that Google is not here to help us. They did a release in the Google Search Console and said that they'll show impressions, but they don't allow us to filter it out. This is being called not provided 2.0. Do you remember way back in the day, you actually knew the keywords that Google was sending traffic to your website on? That went away. We got used to it. Now we're getting taken away from us even the ability to know whether or not somebody came from Google. It'll show up as direct traffic. It won't even show up as a referral. They own Google Analytics. They own Google Search Console. They own the browser. They could fix this. They don't want to. Okay, so when we have the questions around, will Meta do this, or Google do this, or Apple do that, we have to realize that they have completely different interests than we do. Okay? That's okay, because we're going to walk through this. I'm going to drop some different things as we go through this, but the experience that I speak from is that I've always been a content guy. So I was playing with AI before Sam and OpenAI dropped ChatGPT in November of whatever year that was, a couple of years ago. I was using a product called Jasper. What changed for me was I always wanted to use AI to generate content, but it wasn't accepted. ChatGPT changed that. ChatGPT was an accident. OpenAI was having a hard time explaining to the enterprise world what an LLM is. They actually built ChatGPT just to show how AI works, and it exploded. So they were not ready for the onslaught of traffic. They did the best they could and said, why don't we just charge everybody $20? That was the way to do it. But when you think about Google many years ago, Google couldn't figure out how to monetize. They had a great search engine. They bought a little pay-per-click company where you would go in and pay 5 or 10 cents a click, and they monetized. Back then, there were 10 or 15 different search engines. I didn't use Google, right? When I got into the business, I worked for a mortgage company coming out of college. And I decided that I should build a website to help educate people about mortgages. When I started trying to educate people, I realized there was some math involved, but math wasn't in the original part of the internet. You couldn't calculate things. It was just links back and forth. So I went to Barnes & Noble, bought a book on Cold Fusion, and learned how to write some basic code. I built a mortgage calculator. 10,000 real estate agents connected to my mortgage calculator. The first time I ever used Google, I typed in the word mortgage. My website was number 1. It was called mortgage101.com because I built something that people needed, and the internet put it in front of people. I got into SEO and content, which brings me to Gen AI and content. The product I have now that I'll speak a little bit about, just so that you can say, oh, does Chuck understand what's happening with SEO? I have a product called Tidal Wave Content. And basically what I've done over the last 2 years is produced a lot of website copy that brands and companies can use to bring people from Google. I do this primarily with Claude. I do some things in ChatGPT, particularly the editing and compliance, but I've produced a lot of content. Just one quick case study, according to SEMrush, the green line are AI overviews, the green bar. The growth in AI overviews kept this brand flat in SEO while everyone else's traffic was going down. By using AI overviews, even though the traffic is incomplete, we were able to take away what was happening from Google with what AI overviews were bringing. Now, the reason that I went after AI overviews was because it looked like an answer box. The overview doesn't really have anything to do with AI, does it? It's really just a snippet. They actually put AI overviews into the answer boxes. But Google wanted to introduce the word AI to the search results. Why? because they saw the future and knew they needed an AI strategy. So they slapped the word AI in front of overviews. It's a rich snippet search result. It has nothing to do with AI-powered search, but it signals to us that Google is changing its strategy. I have a digital doppelganger called CMO Charlie. CMO Charlie has a website, an email account, and makes custom GPTs. Anyone here can go to CMO Charlie today. There's 9 or 10 one-shot prompts. You put in a URL and your email address, and it'll do things for you. So the first 3 here is a persona builder, brand messaging, and a writing analyzer to help you set your tone and voice so you can build those custom GPTs. These are tools that were built 12 to 18 months ago that help produce all that content that won the AI overviews. AI overviews are the first of 3 things we're going to talk about today. It's very much part of traditional search and SEO. What you do in AI overviews to win them is very similar to what you do to win answer boxes or win different keywords. Here's some quick points. I can't go into AI overviews in AI mode and conversational search, but I can definitely point you in the right direction. What is working today are quick answers, direct statements, natural language, having expertise and authority, all the things that we've all come accustomed to in the SEO space win for AI overviews. Now, I hear some people say, I don't want AI overviews if it's not going to send in traffic. Trust me, it's a gateway to the worlds that we're moving to. If you can win AI overviews, you're moving in the right direction. So, that's number 1, AI overviews. Google got caught off guard. When OpenAI dropped ChatGPT, Google wasn't expecting it. I now can look backwards and realize Google wasn't trying to build a conversational bot, but they tried to show it at an investor news conference. They tried to show off their technology in a conversational chat, and it failed miserably. Google kind of got mud on its face for that. They've recovered. Between products like Notebook and now Gemini and bringing to Workspace, they had a different AI strategy, but they had to respond to ChatGPT. They just had to. Maybe they shouldn't have. Apple hasn't responded. Google chose to respond. It didn't go well, but don't count them out of the race. Okay? So we are now in the Gemini era. Why is this important? There's conversational and AI search in the traditional search. Today, conversational AI search is about 1 to 2% of the search market. Next year it's going to be 15 or 20, then it's going to get up to 30, and it's estimated by 2028 that conversational and AI search will pass traditional search. That doesn't mean it's going to replace it. In fact, I would bet that we're going to be in a 50-50, 60-40 type split. There will be a spot for traditional search, but you now have a new channel to worry about that we're going to talk about today called conversational search. You're going to notice it next year because that 2% of traffic is going to turn into 15 or 20. And I can guarantee you that you're going to get asked sooner than later by people in your sphere what your AI search strategy is. I'm getting it every day. It's a hot topic. Google AI mode. This is not conversational search. This isn't what you do at ChatGPT. But it's interesting. If you run AI mode or use Perplexity, which simulates the AI mode, the query fan out, instead of doing one search, you're doing 6, 7, 8, 9 searches all at the same time. Based on whatever keyword or question you put into Google, it's building and fanning out a whole bunch of queries. Each one of those queries do look at 7, 8, 9, 10 websites, compiles all the results and gives you an answer. So what's it doing there? It's saving you time. It's thinking of things that you never thought of. That ain't bad. From an agentic workflow search standpoint, if I have a question, I don't want to have to think about the other things. If you can give me an answer by looking across the internet, that's great. So query fan out is what's happening. So you start with one query, it fans out, goes and looks at everything, and comes back, and this happens in seconds. Okay? This is what Google was working on, not a conversational bot. And this isn't even hard. Like Google already, they already have the entire internet indexed. Fan it out, get better results, and call it good. But it brings up the question of what's exactly happening. We've had to deconstruct what's happening in the fan out. Related queries, implicit, comparing it to other things, reformulating it, looking at entities, blah, 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 blah. So we need to have an understanding in AI mode, if we're going to compete and be visible, what does the fan out look like? And how can I participate? So I'm going to give you, I think, an example of what's happening, but I'm going to introduce another concept as well. This is called zero-click marketing. Okay, when the fan out happens, there's a couple sources that it'll give. Let's say it looks at 150 sources. You're going to see 3 or 4 of them. There might be a link to a website, but you're going to get all this information back. You guys can do it on your phone right now. Put it AI mode. You're going to get all this information back with no links to websites. Why? Because if it's a top of the funnel search, do you think Google makes any money off ads? No. They need to keep you there long enough. Oh, I got my information. Okay, I'm going to do another query, move myself down the funnel. By the time I get to the bottom of the funnel, Google will give you links to go buy or generate a lead or whatever it might be. So Google's actually not doing you a disservice, and this is their argument. They're still sending you bottom funnel traffic. Where'd all your traffic go now? Because you're used to seeing that traffic in Google Analytics. It's your primary measure of SEO and organic search. But does it really matter? As long as they come to your website to make the purchase after doing the research on Google, right? Now we have different metrics. So how do you get into a fan out? The solution today is what's called a content hub. So let's just say I wanted to own the space of zero-click marketing. This domain's available, zeroclicksmarketing.com. If I want to show up in Google query fan out, I have to be a comprehensive resource for every type of query, hoping that maybe I get lucky or through repetition, I can show up and be referenced, be someone that Google recommends. So here I've got to cover all the potential topics in the fan out, plus what are called edge pages, which the closest SEO term we have for that is long tail. But don't think that writing the content is a keyword research exercise. It's not. You do not need to chase keywords. You need to chase ideas and concepts. That's what the AI mode is looking for. If Google wanted to answer a keyword query, they would have stuck to traditional search. We cannot apply the traditional search rules to the AI mode of the conversational search of tomorrow. You need to answer the topics and questions that people are thinking of. AI will do the matchmaking in a way that we don't completely understand, but it's making leaps. And it does this through the vector analysis that happens in AI with sines and cosines. Just know that the solution is to be a comprehensive resource and content hub for a topic. It's the only way you're going to be in the AI mode results. Now here's what's interesting. The brand authority that puts you at the top of Google, search traditional, is not what puts you at the top of AI mode. I can take a brand new website, put out expertise with a few links, and work my way into AI mode on Google relatively quickly. A month ago, I published something on my website, SEO for CPG. My domain, timely.ai, which does not rank in traditional search, does very well over in AI mode for anything related to SEO for CPG, because I built a comprehensive hub around the concept. Okay? So, what kind of content hub do you build? I took the signups and I threw it into AI and I said, hey, what could you talk about as a brand or an agency? The idea is that you have to talk about something that you can become an expert in that may not directly be your product. Okay? Kettle and Fire, the art of bone broth. I don't know anything about bone broth, but we're about to write a whole bunch of stuff about bone broth. Because you need to teach the large language model something it doesn't already know. We need to give it, Google calls it information game. The way to win in tomorrow's AI mode is by creating new things. We're going to talk about some new concepts that I coined when we get into the conversational search. If you were to go into AI mode and look for those concepts, they're words I coined, they're concepts I developed. Who do you think's going to come up? It's information game. If you're regurgitating the same things that is already on the internet, you will not win. This is why Google likes AI content. Believe it or not, they always have. They know they need to answer all the questions in the world. They're an answer engine, not a search engine. So, can you help them answer more questions? Can you help them answer tomorrow's questions? That's what's going to keep Google competitive. You keep Google competitive and people at Google with your answers, then you hope to be rewarded. It's the same game we've always played. I used to write blog posts. Now I need to make high quality content based on research and at scale, all things that AI can help me do. So how to prepare for AI mode. AI mode is not working right now and people don't like it. But Google is getting all this feedback. Remember we said a little bit ago, make a GPT, spend 22 of your time and then tune the heck out of it? That's what Google's doing right now. They're getting all this feedback from AI mode and they're figuring out how to make it better. But they had to put it in market. So how do you win? You got to cover the full intent of the space. You can't answer one question in a blog post. You got to have the whole content of it. AI works in chunks and vectors and passages. It's about 250 words. If you go over 350 or you go under 150, you may not even get into the large language model. It's all chunked. So it's no longer a 2,000 word blog post or the complete product detail page. It's little tidbits that are all over the website. It picks and chooses what it wants, but it has to be relevant. It has to be a complete thought. So if I were thinking about a 2,000 word blog post, that's actually 8 passages, right? 8 individual concepts that have to stand on alone. That's not going to read real well. So now we have this problem of duality. How do I take care of both? But AI mode, who even knows it's going to stick around? Google's launched a lot of stuff and then got rid of it. Okay? So what I want to talk about today, though, and this is the important thing, that is your context. AI overviews, AI mode, and Google trying to keep the market share. We want to talk about conversational search because this is where it's headed. 6-minute window. That's how long someone will start with a problem and work their way through to a decision to buy a product. After that, cognitive load diminishes, they give up. You only work on it so long. I'm not talking about a business problem. I'm talking about buying toothpaste. We're talking about supplements. We're talking about shampoo, right? How long is someone really going to spend on this? Okay? So, I broke it down into 4 groups. This is important because we like doing it. Before Diego could ever optimize, he had to get everything ready. We have to understand that if we're going to think about conversational search and how it works, we've got to break this down into a framework. So, let me walk you through them. This is a chat that I did. My problem that I framed was I'm looking for something to help me focus more. What does ChatGPT do? It gives me 3 options. Okay. I want to see if I can find a natural supplement. I now have a product category. I could have chosen an app. Maybe I'm having trouble sleeping. I could have chosen a pillow. Or I could try something that I get from Vitamin College. But I first have to get into the product category. Then I have to do what we traditionally would call multifaceted search to narrow this down. I've got to start working. I've got to start narrowing this down. So I'm product shortlisting. Then I have to make a decision. So what happened here is I worked my way through these questions. It made a recommendation and gave me a link. In the future, we don't know when, we're going to get a Shopify integrated checkout cart. In April, OpenAI and Shopify formed a partnership. We got the first sense of this about 2 weeks ago. There's a multi-cart technology that Shopify has released with an MCP server that will allow you to add to a shopping cart multiple brands. I don't know how this is going to work. Crazy. They're setting up the idea that right now, you Google and Amazon, they want to ChatGPT and Shopify. They've told us what they're going to do. We just don't know exactly how it's going to work. That gets me interested because it's no longer a click. It's an add to cart. That's the direction we're headed. Now, back to CMO Charlie. CMO Charlie has some other assistants, but one I want to point out here is the AI secret shopper. If you put your email and a product URL in, and I already have all your emails, I have to email you the results. It takes a few minutes to run. It will simulate this entire secret shopping experience for you and send you an email. You can print it, save it, do whatever you want with it. But I'm going to walk you through a secret shop using the framework that we just talked about, so that you can start thinking about how can you be the recommendation. Because that's what we all want, right? It's like in the old days having the buy box in Amazon. If you are the recommendation, my bet is that folks are going to learn to trust their agent, and they're just going to buy because the convenience of just getting the recommendation based on all the inputs is going to outweigh doing my own research and probably getting it wrong anyway. So I think people are just going to say, tell me what to do, here's my credit card. So let's walk through it. I'm going to go back to the Ziva. So here's the way I think about it, and this happens in the Secret Shopper. There's a number of different prompts that someone could run once they get deep enough in the funnel that are really close to making the decision. So we want to focus on product shortlisting. So my prompts that I write for this are traditionally product shortlists. What are the best zero energy drinks for daily energy reduction? What this is, it's a secret shopping simulation. I got to give it just enough information to get back product recommendations. That's all I care about. I just want to know what AI thinks. I want to be the recommendation. You can read through these and see, but 7 prompts, I feel, okay, I'm probably getting a good enough sense of it. Then I look at the responses. On prompt number 1, I don't even know how to pronounce this thing. Zevia. I don't even know who they are. I just picked them at random. I guess I like their colors or something. But they showed up number 2. But when I run the prompt, I asked it to give me a stacked order based on endorsement strength. And how did it figure that out? I also gave it a persona to help, right? So I gave it just enough information to say, based on who this is and what you know about these products and what I'm trying to do, based on the prompt, what are your 5 recommendations? There's prompt number 4 that didn't show up. Now, I didn't want to make anybody look good or bad. So if these guys were here, what do you think they would think about prompt number 4? They are a top 0 sugar energy drink. They probably don't have real good messaging about pre-workout, or they're missing some ingredient. I don't know, but that would be something I'd figure out discovering. Based on 7 prompts with 5 rankings, I'm able to create a rubric and see what is your brand visibility. They were mentioned 6 times. I showed the one they weren't, and they had an average position of 1.67. Don't get too excited about this. When you run it, you should come up number 1 for your products, right? So if you're thinking about your product URL and what a shopper might type to product shortlist, if you're not showing up high, we've got a little problem here. When we write the prompts, I take into account 4, 5, 6 other brands and what they're saying. What I'm trying to simulate in the secret shopping is not only a digital shelf, but if I don't know anything about this category and I walk into Whole Foods or Walmart, how do you think I get my information? I look at the packaging. How does somebody shop? Product detail page, IG, right? Like they're gathering these informations to even know what questions to ask. If they understood the product category, they wouldn't be typing the question. Packaging and product detail pages and brands put out messaging that educates the person to tell them even what to type. Like we are told what's important often as shoppers. As marketers, you know what's going out, but that will be key when we start talking about how do you connect with potential shoppers. It's that alignment between what you do and don't do that you have to be crystal clear about, okay? So, when I come back to, we cannot dive into this right now, but I'll answer ad hoc questions depending on how much time we have left. You want to be the recommendation. That's all we care about. At the moment, blog posts are for AI overviews, a little bit for AI mode if you combine them with pages. To be the recommendation, we're dealing with product detail pages. Plus, information about your product across the internet. I can tell you that one of the bigger ways that AI arrives at unbiased customer truth, use cases, and authority and trust signals is through reviews. When real people on other websites than your own say about you, and if you're not reading and analyzing your Amazon reviews, things at Walmart. You might have people talking about your products. Reddit is the #1 cited source. I had never liked Reddit, but I'm deep into Reddit right now because it is a trusted resource for where AI is getting information about your product. Now, you can also control a lot of this back on your product detail page or in other pages that talk about your product. Just know that your goal is to be the recommendation, and there is research and you can find things out there, won't go into it, that tell you how to do this. Easy to read information that talks about outcomes, mapping it to real life examples, like if you have a snack, real life is putting it in your kid's lunchbox, right? You also have to take some of your marketing speak out of this. AI doesn't believe it and they know better. You have to be unbiased and truthful and have neutral fact-based comparisons. If you don't do it, somebody else is on a third-party blog, and it will be trusted more than your product detail page. AI is going to find it. AI is a comparison engine. It's going to find it, so why not be in control of that, okay? I have custom GPTs for this. They're all under CMO Charlie. They're the secret shopper, content chunking. When I talk about marketing language specifically for this group, built an FDA and an FTC compliance checker that helps you stay in line with it all, as well as some of the other ones. So you can see the AI secret shopper up there. Now, here's the problem I want to end on. 2 weeks ago, we had a setting just like this. 80 brands did secret shopping in about a 2-hour period. I got all the results back. And then people started asking me a couple questions, and I realized there was a bigger problem. So I put on my builder hat, and within the last 2 weeks, tried to solve this problem. And here it is. If you have 18 product SKUs, and most of you have more than that, I'm just using 18, and we want to do secret shopping on 7 prompts on 3 LLMs, that's 378 that you got to run, right? How many people have more than 18 products? A lot of us, right? What if you have multiple brands? Okay, so I put together something called Prompt Runner, and it came out yesterday. This is a brand that we're trying to solve this problem for. So what's happening is Nature's Logic, it's a dog food company, wrote the prompts. So put in a product's URL, let it build the prompts, and then I looked for their ranking on GPT, Claude, and Gemini, and also issued a visibility score. Now, that in itself is not a big deal, but the problem I'm hearing right now is that if you go to audit, you don't even know where you are. So goal number 1 is to figure out with your products, where do you have visibility and where don't you have visibility? And these are real rankings as of yesterday. Gemini 2.5 to simulate Google, Claude, Sonnet, and this is GPT-5. Okay? So that runs. Now, I can actually see it at the prompt level. So each one of these prompts, I can see where I have holes. Now, are these the right prompts? I have no idea. But we got to start somewhere to say, how, not somebody, how does AI judge me? How does it compare me? How do I become the recommendation for what clearly I should be the recommendation for? That's what we care about right now. Let's not worry about everything else in the world. Can we develop some prompts and track it? Update our product detail pages, our messaging on our website, what we're trying to what we're training the LLMs so that we are the recommendation more often. Now, one thing we can also do, because I'm gathering the data on the back end, this is Nature's Logic number 4. I can see the 3 in front of me. Now, keep in mind, I have this. If there's 18 SKUs and 4 or 5 competitors per 378, we're back to a data analytics issue here. Because now we have to look at this entire universe, figure out who's doing well, see why they were the recommendation, not us, and then start playing with that messaging. And we also have it, unlike Google, we have a 30 or 45 day delay to get into the LLM once we make the updates. How are you going to keep track of that? That's the problem that we're up against here. So that was that. Hopefully that was enough. Not too much. I hope that what I want you guys to have is that we have 3 things we're up against right now. AI overviews, which is like traditional, the hybrid AI mode, and then true conversational search, which is going to be the future.
I joined your company a couple months ago, and our website has a ton of content on it, and my instinct is this is a bad user experience. You need to trim down, make navigation easier, all that stuff. I feel like from your presentation, I'm hearing maybe we're in an era now where it's screw the user experience. Let's just get as much content on there as possible so that because it's more important to show up in those searches.
The CEO of Google told us this. There are going to be two versions. You have to have a great user experience for conversions, getting people to the shopping cart and checking out. You are going to have web pages that are only built for AI. Most websites that have a ton of content need an instant pruning. I'm talking 20, 30, 40% of your content. AI only, let me say it this way, 90% of citations in AI are less than 2 months old. Freshness is huge, and I watch people's head explode because 10-year-old blogs are what does best in traditional. AI cannot trust a 10-year-old blog. Period. Where do you think the hallucinations come from?
But Chuck, if you take the date off the blog, does that do anything for you?
I know exactly why we're talking. Dates off the blog, I often recommend taking dates off the blog for the users because they don't want to read. The blog has schema behind it. The engines know we produced it. You can't do that. What they're actually looking for is last update. Update your content, particularly if it's needed.
You go in and just simply change the first
Nope.
sentence.
No. If it were that easy, we'd have all done it. You're better off with less content that's kept up to date and brings value than to have a ton of content. Okay? Luke?
Since so much emphasis is given to reviews, is there a guerrilla marketing tactic here in just heavily incentivizing your customers to post about you literally anywhere, whether it's Reddit or on Amazon or what have you?
Yes and no. I don't want to go that direction. Luke, I don't mean to ignore your question. Most of the brands here are probably doing okay. Luke's bringing up whether you want diversity in source. Today's reviews aren't working the way we want them to. You need longer reviews, video reviews, unpacking reviews. You need depth. Google has said, and I proxied them into other people thinking about this, that's what they want. They want more authenticity. They want the expertise. The way that we used to think about brand authority, I think we're going to start seeing with entity authority coming from customer reviews. One customer review is going to be more important than another. It's endorsement. It's not just the review. In the old days, all the system could do is count and use stars. AI could read everything now.
Glassdoor,
Yep.
be watching and paying attention to your HR buddies because your brand is as much what your employees are saying and the people that are interviewing at your organizations are saying.
Yeah. And if I wanted to build on Lou's question, if a review that is more like a blog post is showing up, so if the old mommy bloggers that were so popular when influencers first came out, they could be your endorsement in AI. High quality review. Diego.
Chuck, I imagine this is an incredible opportunity for underdog brands that are basically have for many years almost been stuck in this world of traditional SEO. There's only so much you can do to shake the status quo, but in this kind of world, do you anticipate this is a shake-up level event where first movers adopt this approach?
You have two things. To Diego's point, I don't know that a first mover can necessarily take advantage, but a challenger can. CPG is changing. When I first met Ted and came to NatchCom many years ago, I stayed in the space because I like it, but there ain't no SEO work here, right? People don't discover your products through traditional search the way they're about to. Okay, so the way that people are going to do discovery and conversational search, you should pay a little more attention in the upcoming 18 to 24 months. So when we're talking about organic social, I don't know if that's true or not, but I think Diego's right based on what I know. I would say it's going to get replaced or could get replaced by conversational AI. It's going to become a new place that people do product discovery through learning and endorsements and the signals. That will be the recommendations that are coming from organic social. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And that's what's important. Heat dropped. We didn't know it was going to drop. Google's going to come out tomorrow and change something. Who knows if, what Perplexity and Samsung are going to do because they formed that partnership. This is all changing pretty rapidly. And just like when Chris mentioned, who do you follow? We kind of have to stay up on this and let it come to us. But there are things that you can do to be prepared. What AI is looking for when it judges you and shops you is actually a super secret shopper, right? It wants you to have more clarity, to tell the truth, to have great reviews. It is doing what a super shopper should do, so it's going to sharpen the saw. You need to monitor competitors more often and see when they change their messaging. You usually only care when they change their price. They're going to be changing their messaging real fast too, because I'm going to be telling them to do it, and other people like me, to try to win that. Here's what's unique about it. The way that the conversational search works is that if ChatGPT or others have the memory of the conversations, which has increased greatly in the last 6 months, and it knows your brand in a way that no human can ever know because it's looked all the internet and synthesized this. It's a matchmaker. It will not match you when it's not supposed to. But you have to make sure you can get every bit of market share that you should match with. That's your goal. You can't go chase a keyword or go into a new market without thinking through it. The only way this is going to work, Google, or Gemini, Claude, OpenAI with ChatGPT, is that they make the best match. They make the best recommendation. That creates user trust, which means people come back to their platform. That's why the number one thing in ChatGPT was the elimination of hallucinations. People were saying they didn't trust AI. That is really the most material thing that happened outside of coding. That's why a lot of us don't know the big difference between 4 and 5. Yeah, it got a little smarter, but the hallucination rate went way down. It's also has less personality because the hallucinations went way down. Right? So the goal of AI is to make the best recommendation. We have to teach it what that means, who is our audience, what is our messaging, and then how do we make sure that we're matching those specific query prompts. And back, Sam.
Do you think that the large AI providers are going to monetize and charge for product recommendations?
I do. One thing I know, if OpenAI I shouldn't say that. When they launched the product and then in all of their wisdom said, let's give it to the world for $20 a month, which is a steal. It should have been $200 a month. They were trying to make the barrier to entry to AI very low. They are losing so much money. We should be paying $500 a month to OpenAI for what the product costs. But we're in for $20, so they have to monetize. Shopify has something you can join in. Is it Collective? Yeah. Okay, Shopify Collective. That could be an entry point into paying a small affiliate fee for anything that comes from OpenAI. Who would pay 2% to OpenAI to sell product? Everybody in the room. Okay, 3%, 4%. They're just going to have you check a box. They're going to double, triple, 5x their revenue. But they got to figure out how to get this to work. If they have access to all your product detail, they don't even have to scrape it. They can directly feed right off of there. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's all speculation. But they do have to monetize. We've had too many ad models. Consumers are burnt out on it. They don't want to see ads. That's why we haven't seen ads too quickly by Google. Google knows that they do throw ads in there, and you're going to go from PMax to AI Max, which means Google's going to have even more control over where your ads go, kind of meta style. But they use a different monetization strategy, and I think in simplicity, an affiliate fee makes sense to me. Perplexity's already doing it. They have a buy now button with Best Buy and Home Depot where you can check out right inside of Perplexity. So I think that's the way they're going. Google Shopping works that way on a pay-per-click model. That would be my guess, but who knows? Maybe they'll think of something. So far in the consumer product world, OpenAI has been fairly predictable. That would be my guess, and I think we'd all pay it. Now, if they ask for 25%, that's going to be hard. But I think they're going to go for 2, 3, 4%, and they'll make tons of money.
Back to conversational AI and education, pre-AI, post-AI, in terms of SEO content optimization, all the things. You know, what are consumers searching on? What are your content silos? Building that. We were chasing, probably as maybe the word used, I don't know,
Yeah.
Post-AI, is it safe to assume we're reversing it? We're proactively feeding the AI tools with here's who we are, brand, consumer target, what we're selling, what's different, better. So is that the way that it should? Yeah.
Don't think of it as a shift. Think of it as 2 channels. You need to keep doing what you're doing for traditional search. You need to prepare for conversational search. If it's 2% today and 15% next year, you don't need to make a big shift. but you do need to start preparing, auditing, updating product detail pages, fine-tuning the messaging, making sure you can own the prompts that are most directly tied to your product. That's my recommendation. Then as we see it unfold, there's going to be other opportunities. But yes, we learned for so many years to grab the top of funnel question, write a blog post about it, get them to our website, sign them up on email, and then bring them in. And that, boom, do it. Oh, make some recipes. We need a new strategy. And everyone, I'll close on this, everyone keeps saying, isn't GEO like SEO? I go, I hope not. Because that's not going to change our lives. That's not going to change the way consumers shop. If we're going to bring a true better shopping experience where we can have a direct connection with people when they buy our products using AI, it's probably going to be different. If it's not, okay, I'm still doing traditional search, just modified. So I do think there's going to be a different way. I don't have the answers. I know it's working today based on research, and it can point in the right direction. But I'm going to go back to the mortgage calculators or back to the things we did when AI started. Do what's right for business, pay attention to the signals, and then let it come to us when it shows up. So brand clarity, clear messaging, competitive products, market innovation, like all those things can be rewarded if you'll feed it into the LLMs properly, which can be done through schema and packages and chunks. We will learn a new language, right? That's going to happen in conversational search. And there's too many people trying to figure it out because we're all trying to have that window of opportunity. But if it sounds the same, it's probably not really what you need to be doing. So we just don't quite know all those things yet. Google confused us with the hybrid model, right? They put AI into search, but they didn't. So you actually have modified AI search on Google, and then you have true LLM prompting, which I point out is at Gemini, not Google, to help people understand the difference. Okay?